for a digital media person like me, I think I still struggle with always being there. And you can't always show up. It's not possible. And I'll say to myself, Abraham, you can't always show up. It's impossible, but show up when it matters and where it matters. And that is all that matters. In the matter of our matter. Hi, I am Father Abraham, and spreading light is my legacy. Welcome to Spectrum. Together, we gain clarity and the resolve to live with purpose. Blessings. We're going to be having a great time today. Welcome to the show. Hello. Hi. Yes, you. Hi there. Yes, you. Hello. Welcome to the 6th episode of Spectrum. My name is Abraham Ologundudu. If you are a first-time listener and you don't know me, I am a social change leader in my 20s using the power of digital media and communications to drive innovation and transformational leadership across communities. To be honest, I'm many things, and I play different roles. But at the heart of my work is that passion to promote ethical, strategic, and digital leadership for the development of communities, organizations, cities, and nations. And on this show, I explore different themes from my life experiences to educate and inspire young people globally. My desire is that through my knowledge, my experiences, you can be further equipped to live an informed and purposeful life. And one more thing here is that most of my thoughts are grounded in my faith as a Christian, so stay open. And if you think this doesn't work for you, it's okay. It's okay, but thank you for allowing me into your space. I love you. It's been a long break, precisely 6 weeks, and I have had a few people reach out to see what was going on with me and why I haven't released a new episode. I really appreciate the love, and it touched my heart a lot. Yeah, it really meant a lot for those who reached out. And those who didn't reach out, who kind of knew what was happening, still fine, cool. But I had quite a lot going on, and I had to take a break to attend to them, my mental health, my current academic study, my future, and all grounded, again, on my spirituality and faith to God. So I took out time to realign and just figure out a number of things. And this meant that I had to say no to many important people in my life, and I'm still saying no for a while. I'm still going to be saying no for a while because I have many pending projects and personal stuff on my table. Yes, my yeses. Yep, there's a word like that. Argue with your pets. My yeses will be very limited for the foreseeable future. Also, I think one of the other factors that played out is that my content form requires more planning, and I also edit myself. If you have noticed, previous episodes were long forms from 40 minutes to over an hour, and yeah, I know that's exhausting for me sometimes. So here's the catch. I would be switching to shorter episode length for experimentations. And of course, this is a journey, right? So it's fine if we try new things and adjust. But what we must never do is abort the mission without any solid reason. Okay, so I want to get into the topic of this episode already. During my break, I had to further think about different shades of pressure and expectations around my life, the ones that are external and the ones I have placed on myself. Sometimes this pressure is subtle and sometimes it's loud, all over my headspace. And I actually went on to even analyze this in a larger context of society, and I believe you would be able to relate here. Fundamentally, I'm always grateful for my life journey and progress. I am privileged, experienced a lot of things in my short, 25 years. But sometimes I think I live like a 40-year-old. But I'm just 25 years, I'm just 25 years old. And I'm beginning to have gray hair. I can bet it's the stress. It's probably the stress. Well, stress plus the wisdom of the age. But guys, I know it's stress. So now, wow, I cannot come and kill myself. Guys, I cannot expect myself at this young age. So I'm just going to be taking things gently. And yeah, I don't know. But I'm like stepping up on my strategies. So there was a point when I could do all these many things. But right, I feel like I'm in a new phase which requires a new strategy. So I can't just be up and running everywhere like I used to. And I just want to just change. The vision is still clear, the mission is still there, but my strategies are definitely changing. Have you ever received a call from someone in your network, whether a peer, a protege, or an authority figure, and somewhere along the line you get a question, what are you working on? And there are other versions of the same question like, what's new? What's up with you lately? What's on the table? And so on. And if you're like me, sometimes there's nothing new, like there's absolutely nothing new going on. And it's just me probably in a brief hibernation state or still working on previous stuff or just in a short period of struggle. And there are times when something is wrong, which is okay for a certain period. Like it's fine if some things are not going. When I mean it's fine, it's normal, it's part of life and, for a short period. And there are times when nothing is wrong and it's just a season of sowing and, no spotlight and none of all those things that, comes with my life sometimes. But of course, yes, I know I live an intentional life and I have most part of my life working on something grand and impactful. And I know some of you listen to this also out on that scale. But regardless of where you might be on the spectrum, the reality is that at some point in our life, there is the pressure or expectation to keep performing and being a superstar, even when you're hurting and even when, you just feel exhausted and overwhelmed. People still want to see you, on the spotlight and see you in all those things. Yeah. I've read stories and watched some content creators on YouTube speak about moments in their lives where they were exhausted and burned out. They were continuously giving. They wanted to show up for their audience. Some were trying to beat the algorithm and all those things that come with the internet world. Show up. I've come to a point where I must say that I'm not called out for all this beast mode content creating thingy, and always showing up ideology. I believe you must be intentional and all those things. I think for a digital media person like me, I think I still struggle with that's always been there. I don't know if it's my personality, but normally in real life, if I talk for a particular extent, I feel exhausted and I want to withdraw. So I feel like that thing plays out in my social media life where I'm there for a while, sharing all this content and amazing stuff. But some people just want to run away from the internet and come back again. Do you get it? But some people are so constant. They can be there for weeks and months and they're going back to back. I don't think I'm in that beast mode yet, guys. We just have to remember that we're humans. Yes, let's remember that we are all humans. And you can't always show up. It's not possible. I'm not excusing laziness or indiscipline. Hope you get me, but it is impossible to always show up. Plus, I'm not someone who follows rules. I break rules many times. And I think that's something that people have acknowledged in my career growth and in my life is I see rules and in all fairness, I think I've understood the rules and understood certain rules and principles to a large extent that I think I can bend them now, or I think I've learned how to bend, recreate, or even break them. And I would say to myself, Abraham, you can't always show up. It's impossible, but show up when it matters and where it matters. And that is all that matters. In the matter of our matter, it's impossible to show up always. I don't think anyone can do that. So when I want to take a break and breathe, guys, I want to breathe. Yeah, I'm not going to be driven by people. We've not seen anything new from you. You've not done anything new. Guys, okay. So let's be honest with ourselves. We've seen superstars, super celebrities, highly successful people by the world standard crumble. And when I say crumble, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I don't mean to sound that way, but some have committed suicide. Some have admitted that all these things in itself aren't satisfying. And on the flip side, we've seen those with the same success or position who seems to be having it going for them. Apparently, I think so. And if you go down that spectrum, we see the same pattern play out. When I made down the spectrum, I don't want to use the word people who are not successful. I don't want to put that. I want to just basically say people might not be on the spotlight who are not super famous like them. We've seen the same patterns play out where people who have simpler lives, who live simpler lives, also have these two sides of the experience, which is on one side, Some say I'm having the best time of my life or I'm living the best life. And some are saying, oh, I'm unfulfilled and I don't think things are going on like I want them to be, regardless. When I think about this thing, I think it depends on your goals in life and where your priorities are being laid, or where your hearts, where the roots of your drive, or where the roots of your desires are coming from. Primarily for me now, my life is evolving, and it has evolved to a point where I'm fully morphed into mostly intrinsic values and desires, where I don't really care about public and or people see me doing. I just don't care about what's happening in my heart. And when I speak about public, I've seen people being extremely mean to others online. I've seen people on the internet bash other humans without compassion. And here we have a society worried about mental health issues. Like, guys, mental health related issues don't just jump into people from space. There are all these intersections and connections with how the world is currently designed to run. And if you don't tap yourself out, you'll be drowning and you'll be lost in there. Now, this is a classical example, which I know is very sensitive, but during the earlier moments of Black Lives Matter, like the recent protest marches and all those things that we saw online that was rekindled based on the death of George Floyd, I saw people being pitted against each other on the internet for the reasons that since some other people were not sharing or tweeting, and it means that they were not supporting the movement. But I felt like, and I've seen, I've read, and I've connected with people who were educating themselves in private, who were patronizing Black-owned businesses and having conversations beyond the internet. Some people went protesting without taking photos or sharing photos online. Yes, with great power comes great responsibility. You need to use your influence, but guys, we all need to just chill. And again, I'm not being insensitive, because all I'm against is that the same thing we are fighting for, which is placing people in undesirable conditions because of our prejudices, that we don't become the same things we're fighting for. We should always remember that there's always a tendency that when there's a revolution or when there's a movement where people are rising up for justice or rising up to fight back, there's this thin line where they might end up crossing over to becoming the very things they're fighting against. You get it? So I'm just here as an advocate for love, compassion, and empathy, But my point here is, using the example, is that we forget that people actually have lives. Like, they actually have lives besides social media. I need to emphasize this. Some people actually have lives and have a life beyond social media. And for all we know, they might be making a much more incredible impact than other people. I'm just saying, like, some people choose what they want to share. And I have things in my life that are great, but I didn't see a need to share, at least not yet. And I believe that's okay. When did we have this universal convention that everything going on in our lives must be on the internet? Yes, I'm up for purpose, leadership, influence, and shining one's light, and all those other stuff you hear me teach about most times. But let's respect people's spaces and let's deal with one another with compassion and empathy. Guys, nothing in this world truly satisfies. When I think about it, like, this material world can't satisfy. It isn't satisfying. You just want to get more and more and more and more and more and more and more. I'm not trying to mimic Trump. Yes, you're just trying to get more. This is where my own faith comes in. I've spent the last couple of months, let's say 8 months, thereabout, growing in my understanding of Father God's love. And I can boldly say that it's impossible to really offer the kind of love that the world needs if we don't have the Father God's love. And from his view, everything makes a much more sense. From his view, everything makes much more sense. Yeah. I think our very deep brothers and sisters have made this concept of purpose complicated. But purpose is simple, guys. I remember publishing an article about 3 years ago. I think we may have symbolized purposeful living by the public display of charisma and depth. We may have subconsciously associated a purposeful life with founding organizations, businesses, leading big projects, and having all those form of enterprises and empire built around our lives. What happened to those who are serving other people's ideas? What happened to foreigners? What happened to those people who are working tirelessly behind the scenes to make our own man crush Mondays and woman crush Wednesdays appear amazing in the public? What happened to those people? There are names in history that we would never know of, probably will never know of, who have died, who are currently living, and some have died with a great sense of fulfillment, and they are doing amazing and incredible stuff with their lives at their own level of understanding and at their own level of desires, regardless of whether anyone will know them or not, or regardless of if anyone knew them or not. And to me, that's all that matters, that you know, and you know beyond any reasonable doubt, that you lived life. I live my life for the audience of one, and that is God. Every other person that gets to know anything is just a privilege, and I'm not trying to please anybody on this earth. And this is no shade to anyone at all. You can desire to be famous and all those things. You can desire to tell your story and get recognized. They are not bad stuff. They're not things that you shouldn't desire, but just be sure that you're not feeding a dysfunction, or you're not trying to feed on external validations primarily. Do you get it? Like, a famous life isn't always the same thing as a great life. And we can see how social media has changed the landscape of how to get famous. Without a talent manager, without a recording label, it's possible that you blow. When I mean blow, okay, we say blow in Nigeria. Without a talent manager, you can become famous. And after you blow, now you know the meaning of blow. After you get famous, after you blow, what substance and residue will you be leaving in the lives of people when you explode, when you get into the limelight, and when you become that, names that everyone is knowing as its way? As you desire, what substance and residue will you leave in people's lives? What exact impact are you going to make? Think about it. Think about it. I have come to the conviction that those who make major shifts in history were not afraid to break the rules. I don't want to see photocopies of the same thing everywhere I turn to. Like, I want to see young people define their core. I mean, I recommend Jesus, because it's amazing. Young people that I want to see young people, and in their hearts they will take a stand to lead different paths and challenge the system. And yeah, like, there is something unique in you. And this process is not straightforward, but foundationally, the concept of purpose is a simple one. Someone asked me a question a few weeks ago about my major goals in 2020, and I told the person, I shocked the person. I had just two major goals. One was about my relationship with God, and secondly was about consolidating on my existing plans and ideas. So then I had smaller measurable goals to break down those two major goals, and this is because I still have a 10 to 15 year plan in my journal, like legit visions that I've laid down for things that I want to delve into, or ideas that I want to explore, and things I want to build upon. So each year for me is just like a continuation and a transition. Do you get? This is it. I often say this, and I will keep saying this, that wisdom is simple, but it's not common. And this pattern that I think I live my life by seems to be very, very effective, because I'm not in a rush to do the next big thing. I'm living my life for the long haul. And if you've seen my previous episode, you would have heard me speak about my history of being performance driven, and I'm constantly learning what it means to let go, and I'm really learning how to let go of many things, and I'm having to know that it's fine not to be in control. I'm learning that. I'm learning that so much. I'm learning that rest and work are not words and opposites. Rest is a critical part of work, and my life design now is centered on this. I'm not working to rest. I'm working from a place of rest, and this new me may seem arrogant to some people, but I just have to guard my heart against any thoughts and ideologies and expectations that won't make me rest in Father God's love for me. And I believe that leading change from this perspective would be a lot more rewarding, and to be a win-win for myself and for the world at large. I don't want to lose myself in the process of living a life of significance. You get it? So my life is rooted in the love of God for me primarily, and from that place of God's love for me, I can share with the world. You get it? So it's win-win, and the only person that matters is just the audience of one, which is God. Every other person around me, I love you all, but you are not the one I'm trying to please. Just on Friday, I went out with my flatmates to visit other friends of ours, and with reckless abandon, we danced and had fun. That's our host neighbors. So what I mean host neighbors is the friends we went to visit. Their neighbors, who were white, said, "You guys are having the best time of your life." And this is where I would leave you today to think. Look at all that you are about right now in your life. Ask yourself, right now, this moment, am I having the best time of my life? Think about it. Anyway, if you can relate with any of what I shared today, or you want to share your own experience on the show, please feel free to leave a comment. Head on to abrahamologundudu.com/podcast and you can get in touch with me. Thank you for listening to this episode of Respectrum. If you find this really useful, please share this podcast or tell a friend about it. Let me take a few moments to talk about this. Please, I want you to subscribe, rate, and review. Please, because this is very important for this show to get more people. Yeah, I just want more people to get access to this. I feel this is valuable to someone out there. So please rate, subscribe, and review. And if you would like to learn more about me, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @IamOAbraham. And always remember, like I said, together we are unstoppable.